Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to season 3 of the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone Puzzle Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and pregnancy, an integrative, holistic nutritionist, doctor of natural medicine and training, creator of the Hormone Puzzle Method, an infertility warrior, 2-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptoms of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Not to mention, stay pregnant, have a healthy super baby, and easy postpartum. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests, sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you all so much for tuning in and being amazing listeners. So now let's get started on your road to transformation. On today's show, we have Erin McCollough, who is the founder of Fertility Yoga, the world's first online fertility yoga studio, allowing women to practice from the comfort of their living room floor. For the past 15 years, Erin has been leading the industry with her mind-body fertility programs that she started at CNY Fertility Center with Dr. Robert Kiltz. She is the co-creator of the Fertile Secret book and has helped thousands of women reach out and hold their baby after they have been told that they couldn't get pregnant. She calls upon her 25 years of training and practice in the healing arts, yoga teacher trainings, licensed massage therapy, Reiki certified, doula trained, myofascial release, Arvigio therapy certified, just to name a few. She uses these modalities to change how women approach motherhood. Erin is also a certified coach, NLP, EFT practitioner, and hypnotherapist. When she's not actively helping women become pregnant or traveling to educate at fertility conferences, you'll find her hiking or at the local softball field watching her daughter play. Today, we're talking all about fertility yoga. What is this? Why you want to do it? And how it can help you on your fertility journey, mind, body, and spirit. Now, let's welcome Erin to our show. Hey, Erin, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kayla. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. So I am really excited to get into this topic. So today, well, first, I would love to hear just more about you. Tell us your story, how you started working with women's health, with fertility, and with yoga.
Yeah, so my path is a little bit more of an indirect one. I would say a huge percentage of us professionals working in the fields of fertility and supporting women and their families through that process have had their own personal fertility journey. I had one, but in an indirect way. And what I mean by that is, so my going way back, I started with a relationship with my own mother that has been healing and growing and, has taken many forms over the years. So that role of mother is deeply rooted inside me in terms of like what that means and how do we bring that forward and how can then, in all capacities of our life, right? And so that's a little bit of the underlying layer, and then more surface layer. So I had my daughter, when I had my daughter, she's 13 now. I had already been immersed I've been a yoga teacher for over 25 years. I specializing in therapeutics. I was a massage therapist, a Reiki person. So I was already working in the healing world. And when I had my daughter, 13 years ago, I realized, and I looked around and I'm like, where are all the professionals supporting women and this really special, unique time? The opportunities there are so many. And there's nobody, I just looked around, I was like, nobody's here to like support me and what my body was needing, my mind was needing, my spirit was needing. And there was certainly no communities, at least in my area. So anyways, I was like, this is crazy. I'm going to create it. And it's such a need, as women, who I specialize working with the women, indirectly with the men,
Right.
and partners. It's such an important season for fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, motherhood. Being in community is so critical. And especially as Westerners, we're removed from that component, in so many ways. And so I wanted to bring that back. And so, I specialized further in women's health, and I started, bringing that into my own personal community here in Rochester, New York, but it's a small community. I then partnered with Dr. Robert Kiltz of CNY Fertility, who saw my work. He's also has a clinic here in Rochester, New York. He's one of the first reproductive endocrinologists in the world to truly believe in an integrative model of healthcare and how that can support his patients. And so we started working together and collaborating, and I helped to grow and run and facilitate the integrative programs in his clinic. So yoga, acupuncture, did all my work there. And then, it's a small community here, and I just I knew my mission was bigger. I loved supporting families here, but I'm like, I know my mission is bigger. And so I figured out how to bring all of my work online, which now is Fertile Hope Yoga was born. And so everything I do is online now. Pre-pandemic, I had no idea a pandemic was coming.
Right? Me neither.
And I kind of joke that I'm like the least likely person to ever have anything online, because I'm so like the tech part is, I'm a healer, I'm a hands-on,
Right.
I'm a person to person, but, so the tech has always been a little bit of a challenge, but I persevered, and and now we have a global community of women. I think I hit like 5 continents now. It's
Amazing.
just absolutely incredible. I'm so honored to do this work, and so that's how I'm here. That's how we're here together, Kella.
Yay! I love that. It's so amazing. And that's so funny you say that, because, I started my practice before there was a pandemic, before really people it was like when I first started 6 years ago, being an online coach and practitioner, they were like, what? I'll just go to my local clinic. But now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're online, because I can be anywhere in the world and see you. So that's amazing. I love that you did that. I love it. And what a great story. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about fertility yoga. What is fertility yoga?
Oh my goodness. So basically, my definition and how we practice at Fertile Hope Yoga is a form of like yoga therapy. So what that means is we are taking yoga is yoga, right? Like I'm not making up new poses or, I'm not like reinventing the wheel here. All I'm doing is saying, where are you at in your cycle as a woman? How are you trying to get pregnant that month? And how are you trying to get pregnant that month? And in each of the seasons within a cycle, mentally, spiritually, energetically, physically, we have different needs that are coming up. And those needs can be nurtured. So we can kind of turn up the dial if we're needing, We can turn down the dial if we're needing in our system, our blood flow, our lymph flow, our energetic flow, and we can enhance or kind of, be an antidote in our practice, because every single yoga pose has effects in the body that we can measure. And so when you put them together in a sequence, or I call them like my special recipes, we can have a really important impact in all of our body, and meet exactly what we're needing. So people get so hung up on like, and it's not their fault. This is like, we get so much miseducation from all over, like, and doctors, I love fertility doctors, but sometimes there's a lack of information even that they're not taught about, like, what is safe movement, during a cycle. For me, there's like a season for everything, just like our cycles have this season, just like our life, we're in this season of fertility and being motherhood. During our period, it's a time for going in, for reflection, for rest, for resetting, for our intuition is super high. If we listen, and so let's have our movement practices reflect that. And then the next part, whether you're using medications to stimulate or you're trying naturally, if you're trying to get pregnant in the cycle, it's a more energized time. So we can use that time to really like wring out the body and, do some deeper work to really get our blood flow pumping and nourish our ovaries and, get just everything invigorated in our body. And then, of course, we have so we can have poses, like standing poses, and that's a good time for sun salutation. So all of you who are listening, who are like, oh, I hate yoga, or whatever, it's not for me because I can't sit still. Like, this is the time where you're going to like love the movement, because there's a ton of movement and so on. So we can, if you're doing IVF. And so anyways, we can actually, so what I figured out is you can actually have practices that mirror where you're at. And Kella, before we hopped on the air, we were talking about, well, what if we literally can't move, right? Like I had it, right? And how can we still impact our bodies, So like after egg retrieval, if you just need a couple days of rest, well, guess what? Yoga is not just movement on the mat. It's our meditation practice. It's how we're connecting, right, to ourselves, to outwardly, to the universe, to each other. So it's a really important time for a Hope Yoga community. It's like a big thing. And like, how are we being seen and heard? We have our voice, right? This chakra, this voice, how are we using that to keep everything open? And our meditation. So there's different ways we can approach our body, so many ways. We have the yoga of the mind, yoga of the body, yoga. So that's my definition anyways for yoga for fertility.
I love that. And I love that you go through the seasons of the cycle. That's what we teach here. We call it cycle optimizing, where we're eating certain foods and doing certain activities, certain yoga poses during that phase to benefit our hormones and to work with them instead of against them. So I love that you say that. So very important. And what Erin was referring to when she said we couldn't move is that we both were injured and had surgery. So not that we're like paralyzed or anything. It's just we can't do physical yoga during the times of injury.
Yeah. So. And then, so what do you do? And this is like really relevant, because so often, like if you're a runner or if you're used to doing like some other kind of rigorous, or if you're an athlete, right, and are more used to like really rigorous gym workouts and things like that, just because you are, now in the season of life where maybe it's more important to be mindful about how our bodies are moving, it doesn't mean we have to like cut everything out. It means where are you at in your cycle? Are you on a break? Are you working, what are your goals in any given moment? Where are you at? What does your body need? And then choosing the practice that is most supportive and nurturing.
Exactly.
And that's it. So it's not about eliminating, it's about being mindful of our movement and making sure that it's relevant and helpful and nourishing. Nourishing, I think, is like the word.
Yes.
Are we being nourished? What does our body need? And what do we need as a human in this moment? And being willing to listen to that and make choices that are going to nourish that.
I love that. I love that. And we were talking too about something I was telling you about my new classes and how I'm learning about neuroplasticity. And so it's not just about the movement piece, but doing what you're saying with meditation and looking within and self-reflection, you're actually rewiring your brain. So you're going to have a more positive outlook on life. You're going to have more joy. You're going to feel more refreshed and more nurtured, just like what you said. So I love that.
Yeah. And guess what? Our mind and our body are not separate entities. So
right.
when we can create transformation in our bodies through any introductory point. So movement is just a real easy introductory point. We can like move our hand and we can feel an impact in our body. So that's like a really nice entry point. But if you're injured or if you're in a place in your cycle where maybe movement isn't helpful, you're hyperstimulated, you are, after retrieval, you're on bed rest, there are ways through the mind practices like meditation and through my injury, I was just telling before we hopped on, Kella, I was talking to Kella about this because of my injury. I became a hypnotherapist this past year and learned emotional freedom technique. And these techniques, especially the hypnosis, is literally yoga for your mind. It's literally like doing yoga poses. The person who you're working with is going to make suggestions, just like if you were on your mat, your yoga teacher would be making suggestions. You are in control. You can choose if you want to take those suggestions or not. And at the end, you come out and you're like, wow, that was a great workout, or like that was an incredible experience, right? And you haven't moved, but your whole body has shifted. Your whole outlook has shifted. You as a person have shifted into something different. And so that to me is just as much yoga as anything else, or westernized version of yoga, which is a lot of like thinking we have to like go into these crazy poses and everything else. It's not, that's not actually a holistic yoga practice.
I love that. And, there's that saying, use it or lose it. So if you're not working your brain like this, then those pathways die. So you definitely have to do these things to work your brain. And I love hypnotherapy. I think it's so important, especially on the fertility journey. You can literally, your physical body takes suit of what your mental body is telling it. So I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you said too, the mind and the body are not separate entities. That's why they call it the mind-body connection. We're connected and everything affects everything else. So it's just
literally every thought we have to have that thought, we are using neurotransmitters like that are like chemicals that not only are bathing cells in our brain, literally every cell in our body gets bathed through those neurotransmitters. And so literally when people say like, if you think it, you can be it or anything like that, it's true because literally that there is a chemical response that's impacting every cell with every thought. And that doesn't mean that we have to, so now people are going to be scared because they're going to think like, well, I have negative thoughts or whatever. And so that's impacting. No, it's okay, guys, we're also human. Okay. So it's okay. It's okay. And let's practice. There's practices, intentional practices that we can help shift our brain into, more of the productive thoughts and thoughts that are serving your desires and are aligned with that. It's a practice. That's it.
Yep,
it's a practice.
Yep. I always tell my clients that. That's why they call it a practice, meditation practice, a yoga practice, because you're doing things every day to get a little bit better and a little bit better, but it takes practice and it's progress. It's not perfection.
No, progress. And guess what? There's some major backslides in that progress too. And that's okay. So there's no rigidity here, no judgment, no, compassion. These are all like important parts of the yoga too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk about a program that you offer. It's called the Bloom Method. So tell us more about this. It's FHY programs, the Bloom program. So tell us about that.
So basically at Fertility Yoga, I have created, what it's called my Bloom Yoga therapy method, basically.
Gotcha.
And I created this mainly because it was hard for me to describe exactly my method and like, what are we doing here at Fertility Yoga that's maybe a little bit unique and different. And so Bloom, first of all, I just love the visualization of what that means to bloom, coming from, especially the story of the lotus flower really is what I was thinking, where a lotus flower actually seeds in muddy, murky water. It grows and seeds, and in the most really difficult situations, challenge, no other plant would be able to bloom there, right? But it finds its way to the light, it comes up to the surface and finds the light and starts growing, and then eventually like blooms into one of the most beautiful, unique flowers, right? And I love that analogy especially for anyone who's experiencing fertility challenges. And so the B of Bloom stands for be in your body. So that is like number one. I don't care what you're feeling, what you're thinking, where you're at. The first step in healing, in choosing something different, we have to go home. We have to, and home, our safety, our security, whether we realize it or not, or have ever experienced that or not, is in our bodies. And so often, we're hurting, we're mad at our bodies, or, feel let down by our bodies, or we're told our bodies are not adequate. We get that message so often. And so, how do we need to connect, right? And be in our bodies and recognize that we are here because we're miracles. We are miracles, just like our babies are miracles. We are that too. And how can we connect into our bodies and find that sense of safety again? No amount of external circumstances, we can't control those, but we can facilitate our internal environment. So finding what we can control, be in your body. So that's step one. Number two in the method is L, which is lean into community. So we are not meant to, this season of our lives, I keep talking about the seasons, this fertility, pregnancy, we are meant, especially as women, to be in community during this time. We are meant to have the mirror of each other, the witness of each other, the wisdom, be able to tap into that collective wisdom and knowledge and ask questions and feel safe to do that. And it's that in itself, those two things will change your life. And then we get into more of the internal work, right? So because now you feel safe, you have a place to return to. We can't do some of the deeper healing work unless we set the environment. So we get the environment, and then the next one is optimize our mind. So now we're going to go in there. We're going to look at our beliefs. We're going to look at our stories. We're going to look at, what's in there that's, that we've accumulated. Our bodies are so wise. And if we haven't worked through, and trust me, we're all working through everything. We're going to be working through stuff till all of us, till we die. It's not like we all of a sudden work through stuff and now we're like perfect beings. And
right.
No, that's not the human condition. When we're working towards something though, and our heart's desires are there and we have that gift, we also need to be with our whole beings in line with that. So what is there that we can kind of shift and work with to create that alignment? And once we do that is the next O, which is open to healing and possibilities. And that's kind of we start moving into this flow or magic state that I call it, when I just know that, it's just, their baby's like going to be there any second. And then the M is like the manifest miracles, because, that's what I'm here for, to help people unite with their babies that their hearts are desiring, and supporting in the process. So that's my method. I use all kind of techniques in there. At Fertile Hope Yoga, we have all kinds of different practices, not just yoga, that we use that are all mind-body practices to facilitate each one of those. And when you get toward the end, the O and the M, those kind of things just start kind of unfolding naturally at that point. And it's like someone's like, kind of off and running, and it's just like, go, go, go.
Yay, but, I love that. Yes. And I love an acronym. I mean, we have our puzzle method here. Like, an acronym is so fun. So I love that you did that. So are most of your practices in your studio in Rochester, or are you online now as well?
Everything's online.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah. So anybody from, we have members at Fertile Hope Yoga from all 5 continents now.
Yay.
South America, North America, Asia, all over Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Yeah, it's just really, really special.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then everyone can access it. All you need is a computer or your device, a phone. I have an app now. It's super easy.
That's amazing. So is it like a membership platform, or how do you buy sessions? Or how does it work?
Yeah, it's a membership platform.
Okay.
So you can become a Fertile Hope Yoga member in a couple different ways. So one is, it's a relatively inexpensive, you can join for $27 a month or $19 a month if you join, do a 6-month package. You get access to live yoga, Zoom classes, all the cycle specific classes. There's hundreds of classes on demand now that are a lot of them are cycle specific. A lot of them are what we call anytime, any cycle practices too, that are maybe catered towards certain themes. Like, are you feeling a lot of anxiety or depression, or do you want to just really cleanse and detox your body because you're on a break? And then there's a whole library of meditations. There's a whole library of fertility hypnosis tracks, pregnancy hypnosis tracks, pregnancy yoga. So that's all the on-demand, and that track is for anyone who feels confident self-navigating and also has the motivation to self-navigate, or feels maybe is already working with a coach like you, Kella, and already has a support group if you feel like that's needed. So it does, if you're going to do that one, I do recommend that you already feel supported, like you don't feel alone. Then the next level up is $69 a month, and that includes group coaching circles with me that I facilitate 4 times a week. It also includes what we call affinity groups, or small group peer groups. And it's just it's another layer for anyone who doesn't have maybe a therapist or a coach, or is feeling really isolated. It's important to anyone who's doing IVF. I would recommend that one too. unless they already have a coach or, already has support. And then I do, one-on-one work as well. That's kind of the last layer, but the middle layer with the group work and the one-on-one obviously have limited numbers and spaces. But anybody can join the nurture program, and it's helpful for anyone pregnant, trying naturally. There's something in there for everyone.
I love that. Amazing. Yeah. And we'll have all that in the show notes, how to enroll, how to join any of those options. So I love that. And so we do have to take a short break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors. We're going to come back. We're going to talk practical tips, maybe get into some yoga poses and more. So we'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan. Hey, Erin, welcome back.
Hi, Kella. I'm so excited to continue this conversation. I hope everyone's been really enjoying it. I've been having so much fun.
Me too. So let's dive into some practical tips. So, well, first tell us, what are some of your favorite, yoga poses? Say we're trying to get pregnant naturally, or maybe one for pregnancy. What would you say?
Okay. So my favorite pose for any cycle, anytime, is called Supta Baddha Konasana. And in English, it's reclined wide angle. It's called reclined. I think it's specifically translated reclined wide angle pose. So basically you can imagine yourself kind of draped over a bolster, a yoga bolster. So your chest is open, your back is supported. You can have the bolster at an angle, so you kind of feel like you're in a reclining chair. Mm-hmm. And then your soles of your feet come together, your knees come out wide, and you can actually support blankets or kind of pillows or whatever you have the outside of your thigh and your shin. So you're kind of tucked in. Mm-hmm. But what this does is energetically, we are open across our heart chakra, our chest, open across our solar plexus chakra, or energetically right below our rib cage there. So if you're feeling any anxiety or tension, right, what happens? We close in that area. We get heavy, right? That's why our shoulders roll in. It's like the world is on your shoulders. So now we're nope, superhero style, right? We're open across that area. And then we're open across our second chakra, or in our pelvic area is also open. So it's the pose is energetically all about receiving, right? Receiving energy, receiving life force energy. But physiologically too, we're promoting blood flow to our uterus and our ovaries. It's also a pose that's passive. So we're getting all the physical benefits, but not having to exert any physical energy. We just get to be there. And sometimes it's nice if our brains are super active to have some music or put on a guided meditation. You can you can be there from 10 to 30 minutes and just come out of that pose feeling like a new person. It's just so nourishing for our reproductive organs, for our hearts, for our brains. Yeah, really, really good.
I love that. And what was the piece of equipment you said we needed? Is that something we have to have?
Oh, a yoga bolster.
Yeah.
So
What is
what
that?
it basically is, I like the rectangle ones. You can think of like, it's like 2 feet by a foot, right?
Okay.
So rectangle about that size. And it's like a pillow, except it's super packed. So there is
Okay.
no give to it. Almost
It's like foam.
like a firm couch
foam.
cushion.
Okay.
Yes, like super, but not like uncomfortable firm. It's still like
supportive,
and but what it does is it's firm enough but soft enough to support our spine so the alignment of our posture can be really nurtured and supported. And we also have that give to it. So our bodies will also feel comfortable over time, letting go and softening into it, and kind of your body just starts to mold around it as your body softens and relaxes. And so that kind of creates some of the physiological benefits, because so you could do it without a bolster. You can just lay on your back and use the ground too, but all my students will tell you that the bolster is worth the investment. Pre-COVID, bolsters weren't all that expensive. They were maybe like, you could get one for like $20, $25, but now because everyone's doing home practices and of course just COVID jacked up prices for everything, I think they're like, I don't know, you can go like $40, $50, but totally worth the investment. And then when you're pregnant, oh my gosh, the bolster, like, you will use it. You can use it in your bed. You can use it to prop yourself up wherever, watch TV. It's like a game changer. Bolsters are game changers. So.
I love that. And that's so funny. I think I have one of those, but I didn't know what it was. I got it in like a gift box or something, so now I'm like, oh, that's what that thing's for. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So when you go to your meditation, you can just drape yourself over there, put a little pillow under your neck.
There you go.
You just let your feet be long, and it just adds a layer, of opening.
I love that. I love that. And talk to us about how birth, well, first, before we do that, I know we're running short on time, but give us a quick little pose for pregnancy, and then talk to us about how this can help us with birth and postpartum.
Oh, okay. So, oh goodness.
I know that's a long answer probably.
Okay. Well, I'll just choose, downward. No, I'm going to choose spinal waves. If I had to choose one yoga pose and it's a moving pose. So like cat cow, people have heard it like that, where we're on all fours and we're going into spinal extension. And then we press our feet and hands into the earth, and we come and the baby or our belly button starts drawing toward the front of our spine, and we round and kind of wring everything out. When we do spinal waves, especially during pregnancy, it promotes optimal fetal position for the baby. It relieves back pressure. It's when the baby gets their time to do their own yoga in there. It can help with constipation. It can just help with all those little aches and pains from carrying weight in the front of our bodies. And then it helps us prepare for labor too, because the breath in those poses and syncing our movement with our breath and just being in our body and learning how to move intuitively with what our body's asking for. There's no better preparation for birth. So spinal waves. Spinal wave. I'm going with spinal waves, final answer.
Right. I love it. Awesome. And then how about birth? Is there something we can do to prep for that day, for when we're actually pushing the baby?
Yeah. So that's all the pelvic floor work. So if we're talking about natural birth, where we're actually needing to utilize our pelvic floor muscles. So those are the muscles around the vagina, around that are holding, it's like, think about a hammock of muscles that are actually holding our reproductive organs. And so we actually need to learn how to activate those and release those, just like any muscle in our body. But we don't practice that a lot when we go to the gym or whatever, no one's like, okay, we're doing like bicep curls. No one's like, okay, let's go work our pelvic floor muscles now. Right. But we need those. We need those. We need to be able to know where they are, and how to activate them, but also how to soften them. And so yoga is the whole practice. We can do different breathing exercises in different ways to learn how to activate those. And that can be number one for pushing the baby out, but also, quick recovery.
For sure. For sure. We actually had a pelvic floor specialist on the podcast, and it was so interesting.
Yes.
I was like, I had no clue about all of that with my pelvic floor.
My gosh.
Like Kegels, but she was telling us like, you have to be really careful. You make it too tight. And then it's like, you don't want it too tight.
Right. So in the yoga, we learn how to, just like any part of our body, that's what's cool about our yoga. We learn how to activate, and we also learn how to release, and to have a healthy tissue in our body. Both of those are necessary.
For sure. So tell us where we can find you. Where can we learn more about you?
Yes. FertileHopeYoga.com. You can do a free trial, a 2-week trial, for my programs. I have a free, masterclass that's on there, all kinds of free resources, free fertility affirmation cards. So lots of free resources to get started. You can also email me, support@FertileHopeYoga.com. I'm happy to answer any questions you all have.
I love it. And we'll put, like I said before, we'll put all that in the show notes, how to join your membership, how to work with you, your socials, all of it'll be there. So make sure everybody listening, you look at that and go check Erin out. Amazing. So before we close out, I would love to hear maybe a final thought, a word of encouragement, something you want to leave us with.
Yeah. So sometimes hope can feel elusive in this process. It's so critical to find, and we talked about this earlier, but finding your people, get this. There's no such thing as too much support, whether it's a coach or being in community, having peers. There is this time in your life, we are not meant to do this alone, because when we're in community, when somebody's hope is looking dim, somebody else can bring their hope and shine their light and help you refuel yours. And, please, we're not meant to do this alone. So many amazing resources for everyone with coaches and who have so much experience and so much love to give and just want the best for you. So
I love that. Oh, well, thanks again, Erin. It's so fun to get to know you, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Kella. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone, and thank you for listening to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Until next time, bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.